We have a pretty straightforward agenda for tonight. Before we begin with our first item on the agenda, I would like to mention that the proposal for 547 East Genesee Street is not going to be heard tonight. Based on a letter received in July, the applicant is still seeking a continuation. So there has not been any conversation or any action or any decisions made with respect to that particular project, and none will be taken tonight. So with that, I think that was the only matter that is still, pending, but again, there's no action tonight. So with that, why don't we move on to our first item on the agenda, which is the Miller residence. And Karen, are you with us? Do we have attendees from somebody who's representing the Miller residence application?
Yes, let me, Joseph Miller's here. Let me promote him up to panelists.
Great.
Mr. Miller, you'll be able to present in your application for your site plan and variance request. So, Joseph, you can, let's see. Mr. Miller, if you unmute, they should be able to hear you.
Yes. Can you see us yet?
Can't see you, but we can hear you.
That's odd. Here we go. Start video.
There we go. Now we can see
Good
you.
to see everybody. Well, first of all, let me say thank you for doing this. I am new to Onondaga County. My wife grew up here, but we just moved back a few months ago. We are attempting to build our own home in the village of Fayetteville. We lived for 22 years in the city of Ithaca on a small plot that we developed and enlarged and built additional housing on. So it turned out very well for us. We're hoping to build a bungalow with a footprint of about 1,956 square feet. And we seem to have run into a problem with the location of the garage. So that's why we're here tonight. I apologize for being very uninformed about this whole process. And some of it may be miscommunication, so I hope you'll bear with us. But if I could share our plot plan.
Yes.
Here. This is what we're dealing with. This was basically drawn out by our architect, a local resident, Paul Billings, and it was reproduced by Lair Land Surveyors. So that's what we're looking at here. The current setback as indicated on this site plan says 35 feet. But as I look at the zoning attachment, it looks to me like maybe the setback is supposed to be only 30 feet in front. So that's one issue. The problem arises back here with the garage, excuse me, where we get to within, I think it's 18 feet of the back lot line. So we are going to need some kind of variance to build things as it's drawn. I don't know how much give and take there is in this process, but obviously we could move this house forward at least 5 feet and I believe 10 feet. And that would make it just a much smaller variance in back here. The other issue, of course, is that as it's drawn, it gets to 4.3 feet from the north edge of the property line. Obviously, that's got to be at least 5 feet for fire restrictions, but that's a very minor adjustment that could be easily made. I think that's all I need to say right now. Any questions?
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for sharing that information up front. Just to clarify matters, you are before the planning board tonight for purposes of obtaining site plan approval for constructing what you're proposing, the house and the garage and boat storage. And then you will need to appear before the zoning board of approvals to obtain your variance request. Now, just to make sure, just to complicate things a little bit, as a planning board, we have the obligation of reviewing all variance requests from a planning perspective, and we make a recommendation to the ZBA. The final decision rests with the ZBA, but we do have the responsibility of making a recommendation based on the information you provide to us. So we will be looking at both issues tonight, but what you are seeking from the planning board tonight is a site plan approval, okay? And then, of course, our recommendation regarding your side yard and rear yard setback variance. So do you have any questions about that process and what you need from both boards?
I guess not, no. Is it possible to modify the site plan?
Sure. Yeah,
Even
so let's,
even
now-
before the zoning board meeting? Is that something that,
yes, that is possible. So let's talk about this. And Karen, I don't know if you have the book open in front of you. I do not have our code book opened in front of me, so I never recall the front yard setback. I don't have it memorized, but if
It's 30 feet.
it is 30 feet, so that, what that means is that you can build up to the 30-foot line without seeking any kind of variance approval. So if you are okay moving your, the front line of your proposed porch up to 30 feet, then that reduces what you need to seek for a rear yard variance. Yeah,
okay, let's consider that done.
okay. I'd like to put it out to the planning board members. Any planning board member, do you see any concern with that adjustment to the proposed site plan?
Jane, this is
Yeah.
Sarah. I have no problem with moving it forward the 20 feet, but it does not affect the other issue that I don't think the Millers are even aware of, is the percent coverage issue. This property, the way it's designed with the house and the garage, covers about 50%. And I believe our guidelines are 35%.
Yeah.
We can
No,
reevaluate
you
that.
bring
I
up a
thought,
good point, but we have looked at that, and we are well under the 30%. I think it's like 27% or something like that, lot coverage.
Sarah, if I may, Mike Jones reviewed that with them and it didn't exceed the lot percentage.
So we don't count the driveway as part of the lot coverage?
No, just structures.
Yes, structures, okay.
Oh, I have a question, Jane. So do we know, and I don't have a problem with moving it forward, let me preface my question by saying that, but do we know what the setback is of the adjacent property to the north? I'm curious. Because typically, especially with the fabric of our village, it's nice if the buildings sort of line up, as they tend to do because they were built in the same vintage. So I'm kind of curious to know, because I think it's actually pretty close to the street.
It's closer to the street, Jenna.
Yeah.
The other one, I don't have the exact measurement, but it looks to be like the house itself might be at 30 and the porch is in that setback.
Okay.
And that's right next door.
Yeah, right. I thought it was pretty close.
Yeah, you can see it there.
I think that's generally a good visual guide, that it would be somewhat close to that.
Yeah, it's not on the
Seems like a
survey.
good
That
idea.
could be something that could help if you could have your surveyor just show, typically they do show
I know.
adjacent buildings on the parcel next door. That's also going to help you with your variance, because
Yeah, that's
the building itself, the garage that's existing, is closer to the property line than any of your
Right.
new structures will be. So if you could have him show that on the survey, that would help you. And I would do both sides, fences and structures.
Right. Both of those things, that it's consistent with the front yard setback. And as Joanne just said, which is a great point, that you're improving the existing condition, which has been a garage or shed that's really almost on the property line.
And the other side really has a nice buffer of
Mhm.
trees. So you're really not affecting that neighbor either with your driveway that's already there.
Right. So I would say that you might even want to measure the front porch of the other property and just sort of plan it to be the same? So
Well, yeah, the
as
surveyor.
long
would
as that's
actually
legal,
pick up-
it's not too
Well,
close.
you'd have to be careful
Well-
because the others might be non-conforming and he wouldn't
Right,
have.
that-
Right.
As long as
Yeah.
it's at least that.
But it'd be good to at least inform the placement of the setback.
And that would
Yeah.
help the zoning board to, consider that favorably.
Yeah,
Okay.
typically the surveyor would pick up things that are just on the edge of the property line, so they'll understand what to do. They're allowed to go there and pick up the front, but you really aren't allowed to measure that unless you got permission. So I wouldn't go and measure their property unless you have a good relationship.
So I'm gonna summarize for you. We always like to look at as Jennifer said, the fabric of the neighborhood. And you're interested in moving your proposed new home forward to your allowed 30-foot setback. First of all, very legal for you to do that. You do not need permission. You don't need variance to do that. Furthermore, if you do that and you can understand its relationship now to your neighboring homes, that information to the ZBA, that just gives them more context about what you're seeking in terms of a variance. Same with your side yard. As mentioned, that garage to be raised, that is practically on the side yard line. And there is not enough variance there. So you can demonstrate that you're actually improving the structural layout of the garage. Even though you are seeking a 5-foot variance, it's still an improvement to what currently exists. So those are all little tips, if you will, from our board to you and how you present to the ZBA. I'd like to ask, in my opinion, with what you're proposing, especially if you're going to move your house up to the 30-foot build line, I don't have any issues with your either your rear yard variance request or your side yard variance request. I would recommend them. That all that you're proposing right now in total fits within the character of that neighborhood. It fits your adjoining homes and is not intruding upon any neighbor uses of their backyards. So I think it works.
One
That's
further
my
question I have, if I may, is I assume you're going to need to be extending the driveway to actually make it all the way to the garage. I didn't see that on the site plan, but I assume that's going to happen.
Yes, we would, Jennifer.
Will it stay asphalt?
Ideally, yeah, that would be most accessible for us.
Okay.
I noticed if you look at the Google image, it looks like there is almost maybe an entrance to a porch right off the sidewalk. Does anyone remember what house was there?
I do. I
It was
actually have a fond memory of that house. Go ahead, Sarah.
It was sort of a lime greeny color.
Yes. It was a house similar in structure as the White House. It was much more in disrepair.
Mhm.
And it was just a house. Unfortunately, it's not there because it burned down. There was
Was it
a
very close to the street?
no more close than the house to its left. This
So
one.
you think that was the pad to the porch?
I think so. Or it feels, even that feels, well, you can see the two,
Mhm.
looks like
I think it was a
two
little further back.
sidewalks. I think it was a little further back. Yeah, that feels a little too close. So maybe there was something else there.
I just wondered because it seems like the porch may have been abutting that concrete area.
It may have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what was
Yeah.
there originally.
Yeah, Vicky used to live there. Anyway, I lived down the street. It was, so I think that what's being proposed by the Millers right now is very in keeping with not
Yeah, I
only
would
what was
agree.
there and how it was used, but what's currently there now. So I don't have any issues either with your site plan or with your variance request. I'm kind of jumping to the, the final decision. But I don't know if any other board members have questions regarding the site plan.
No.
I think that the driveway would need to be shown as far as when we do our final site plan review.
Yes.
You know, Joanne, I'm
I think, was it on there?
I don't know if we need to have a final review. I think This is,
Well, I mean, for, say, for recording it then.
yes, yeah, I do think that if we are comfortable approving site plan tonight, because this proposal falls as a type 2 seeker project, so we don't need to undergo seeker review, and the property itself is not adjoining a county road, so it doesn't need county referral. This is
Right.
a rare application. We don't need to send it out, or we don't need to do seekers. So we are very able to make a final decision tonight if we're comfortable with what's being proposed to us. And I feel that the package for the site plan application was very well done, and the information was well communicated. So I don't have, myself, I didn't come off with a lot of questions.
Well, thank you, Jane. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
No, you should see some of the stuff we get. So that you did a great job. But to keep moving this forward, I would like to make a motion that this is a type 2 project under seeker regulations, and therefore we do not need to undertake seeker review. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then I would just like to note for the record that because this property is not, does not abut or adjoin a county or state road, that we are not obligated to send this residential proposal to Onondaga County for their 239 review. And that leaves us then able to take action on the site plan application. If there are no other questions or issues to discuss, I would entertain a motion for site plan approval with any modifications, or at least noting the modifications that we've discussed so far.
I'll make a motion that we approve the site plan as presented with the small changes of moving the building to the 30-foot front setback line and to show the driveway on the plans that are recorded with the village all the way to the garage and the boat storage area.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, well, very good. You just received site plan approval. And so our next decision is our recommendation to the ZBA for their request for a variance. And now we know that their rear yard variance request is reduced. I'm not going to know the number, but
Yeah, that'll have to be.
It would be reduced from roughly 18 feet to 8 feet.
Okay. So
yeah.
I think we should make a positive recommendation that the ZBA look at the variance as being insignificant given the neighborhood context. And I think also that the front yard setback is acceptable for the size of this property as well, and it will fit and be in compliance anyway. So I think that is really all we have to say about that, if everyone agrees that it's a positive recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Sarah,
And
thank
just
you.
note, there's also a request for the side yard, and as stated,
Right.
the existing garage is worse than what's being requested. So I think that we can be favorable on that side too.
Yeah.
Correct. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, okay, very good. Well, welcome to the neighborhood and good luck with the ZBA.
Thank you so much.
It's up to you to take our tips or not, that's your choice, but we wish you good luck. So,
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Appreciate it.
all right,
Thank you.
enjoy your evening.
Yeah. You too. Thanks.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the hair salon.
I'm not sure the gentleman is here that's presenting it. Let me see here.
Is this 104 Chapel or 414 East Genesee or all of the above?
All the above. The parcel is identified on the tax map as 414 East Genesee Street. It has two structures on it. So behind Paul Carraz is this building standalone that identifies like by mail or locally as 104 Spring Street. And that's where they're proposing a salon. There was one there before and they're proposing one now.
It's one parcel with two buildings. That's what's confusing about it.
Right, that's another way of putting what I said, yep. All right, there's one attendee listed as Samsung. I don't know if that is our. Let me see here.
Sorry, I am a bit confused. Is this one of the salons the salon that's inside the plaza?
No,
Oh,
no,
it's on
the one, it's behind Paul Carraz. It was
Yes.
called the Ambiance Salon.
Oh,
Standalone building.
Freestanding building, yeah.
okay.
It's been a salon forever.
Doesn't it have a purple door?
It did. And
Wait,
purple flowers
behind
at one point.
Carraz on the same side of the street?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Oh,
all
okay.
the way
Right.
back is the very end of the building.
Yeah, there's
okay.
a parking lot between the two buildings.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't appear a very wide
I
storefront.
couldn't figure out by the address either. I was flummoxed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
backed up to the
tax map.
plaza parking lot.
Is the applicant online for the site plan? Jim, I don't see your name. There was Catherine Lord and Jim Lucido that had applied for this.
I see two numbers here. So if the applicant for the hair salon is in attendance and you could unmute yourself, that would be helpful. Otherwise,
Yeah, I don't think the other attendees are, there's only one I don't recognize and I thought perhaps that might be the one, but I'm wondering if they're online. That said, as far as your review of the application, do you guys have, as board members, any questions of what they're proposing? It's really a use, in-kind use to what it is
Right.
now, just a different occupant.
It doesn't look like there's a signage application that's associated with this.
there's
No,
not.
that we inquired, they don't plan to have a sign at this time. You know, we explained that any type of signage does require approval,
Right. Okay.
so they are aware of that.
Right. And no hanging or no projecting signs.
Right.
Okay.
No problem with it. It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it seems really much like a reuse of the same thing. So even size wise, it didn't feel any different. I mean, the thing is the building restricts the number of stylists you can have in there anyway. So
Right, and they're not changing anything. It's just a new occupant with the same setup and same use.
So the parking is a bit of an issue there, but they've always worked it out. All the hair salons that have been there managed. So I don't think it probably doesn't meet our actual criteria, but they all manage fine.
So
I don't have any issue. I don't know if I don't really want to approve this without the applicant in the meeting. So that's my only hesitation.
let me put you on hold. I can see if I can get a hold of them. Let me see if I can.
We can, as a board, we can table this and move on to our meeting minutes.
I think that's a great
and I
idea.
will, while you're doing that, I will see if I can reach out to them.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yep. All right. So board members who were here at the August meeting, were you able to review the minutes and do you have any questions over them?
I do not.
And they seem fine to me.
Great. So do one of you want to make a motion to accept and
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So we have that accomplished. And I read that you, in the August meeting, you did accept the July minutes. So we are up to date with our minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the only other thing I thought worth letting everybody know is, of course, the status of 547 East Genesee Street. And I don't know of any other business to relay or any new news that, you know, concerns the board. So go ahead, Dan.
Obviously, there's been some development on North Burdick Street. Some clearing of the overgrowth and was wondering if does anybody know if he has a tenant yet?
I asked the codes enforcement officer that and was told no, that they would just were cleaning it up so that it would look better to be appealing.
Okay. Are they going to do? Is anybody going to do the same thing with the corner of High Bridge and Genesee?
That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, I wish some other properties would make their site more appealing.
All right, the gentleman will be logged in any moment.
So I also don't have any news with respect to that site, Dan, at the corner. I believe that is still a matter before the trustees. It's in their hands. And
Well, I do have some news from the trustees meeting that may be of interest to you. Do you remember back when we did that North Burdick Street, they had the expert come and review the FEMA map?
Mhm.
And they had that same person do it again for the High Bridge Landing thing. And they're now officially trying to engage with FEMA to get FEMA to actually accept the findings of our engineer. And they've Congressman Katko has gotten involved with helping them get through to FEMA so that we can have something official. But that's been sort of progressing all year long. They've been working on getting these engineering things recalibrated.
that's good. That's good. Being proactive. I was going to mention that I've seen just by driving by some activity along Mill Street with some of those
Mhm.
properties there. So that's really good. It's really exciting to see that come to be. But I have not seen activity on Chapel Street at the old plastics factory. Just sits there. So I don't know if anybody's heard anything about that area.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Drove by it tonight and I saw 2 windows had curtains up.
Ah.
I think that was a major improvement, having curtains up.
That
Did they
suggests,
get their C of O? Are they letting people move in?
And it didn't look like anybody who moved in. I just saw curtains. Step in the right direction.
yeah.
All right, I'm still waiting. He said he had the email. He was just going upstairs for wherever he was to get into his computer.
Oh, so he's at his place. There we go.
He apparently it sounds like he completely forgot.
Oh, that important.
I appreciate your patience. So hopefully it won't be much longer.
Is that it? Or I thought I heard somebody. No, it's the same.
Yeah.
So how's school going for everybody? Any age?
College is weird.
Yeah, yeah. I would
Only
imagine.
one class on campus every other week for a chem lab.
Oh, wow.
That's it at ESF. So only labs.
Can they get on campus for library use or anything like that?
They don't advise it. You can, but not many
That's
people.
sad.
Because you have to
Big part of what
test.
they pay for is the college experience and they're getting robbed.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, a lot of the classes aren't really classes online. They're just downloading information for you to learn yourself or talk to TAs. So fortunately, they don't have it quite together. I don't think there yet. So it's not the usual college experience for sure, but
Yeah, it's a bummer.
yeah, it is. But a lot of work, he's saying. It's very busy. You know, he works all day long, 8 to 10 hours on work because you're really trying to teach yourself.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. I wonder how, maybe in the long run, that'll be a really a strong positive benefit.
yes,
But
it is. You don't have the time to go other places. You're really just trying to get your work done, and there aren't any distractions.
no, the distractions are very
but-
low.
But he said, he's funny because he'll say, oh, I was just talking to myself because I've been sitting here for 4 hours. I just stood up and looked in the mirror and talked to myself. Oh, God. So, but the kids that are on campus, they still get together, but not as much, I guess. Is he surprised? He has friends that go to ESF and SU. But, you know, there's some partiers, obviously, but different experience, that's for sure. How about yours, Jennifer?
Well, it's a bit difficult when a bunch of the classmates are in the city where the school is, living in apartments, and even though the school has said it's online. So that's hard socially,
Yeah.
but that just did not seem like the greatest idea for us. Never mind the logistics of getting an apartment set up. So I find I'm actually learning lots of extra things because I'm overhearing way higher level math classes than I ever took, and astronomy, statistical economics. So I'm catching some of it from overhearing it. It's really hard. It's really different for all the kids, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is.
Anybody have high school kids or middle school kids? Dan?
Yeah, Sarah's a senior, so she's a Thursday, Friday kid. So she went last Friday, the first day of school, and she doesn't go back until Thursday. You know, and she's really taken the position of you know, whoever she can apply to with the Common App, I think she's going to.
Mhm.
And then based on what she hears from that is when she'll decide to go see places, because she really hasn't yet. So it's the whole process is
I think he
different.
just signed in, sorry. Dan, just wanted to give you a heads up, he's just signed in. You guys ready?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Been ready.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Jim. Thank you for joining us. Jim, can you hear them? I think you need to unmute.
If you can unmute yourself and maybe share your video.
How do I do that?
You know what, Jim, I'll share my screen. I have the site plan drawing. So let me do that, something to go
There he
over.
is.
All right. So this is the salon that he's going to be talking about.
Okay, so Jim, we have this site plan application before us. We all understand that you are interested in opening up a hair salon in this building that has historically been a hair salon. You know, different salon prior to this, but same type of use. That your hours of operation are basically 8 to 8, closed Sunday and Monday. And that your parking needs will be satisfied with the existing parking spaces in the area?
That's correct.
Okay. I don't know, myself, I don't have any and also you don't have, at this time, you're not seeking a sign permit. You're,
No, not yet. We got to figure out what we're gonna do first, and then we'll do the permit.
okay, so you just know to seek that permission later, which is fine.
That's correct.
Many people do that.
And just to be clear, this is my wife's salon.
Okay, that's
I
okay.
just did the application because I'm a general contractor and I've done this before.
Okay,
But she's downstairs if you need to speak to her.
no, that's okay. You can be the representative.
Okay.
Board members, does anybody have a question for the applicant?
No?
I should have driven by to look at this, but is the entryway accessible for people with mobility impairment?
Yes, it's got a wheelchair accessible threshold on the door.
All right, great, thank you.
So without other questions, I just want to note for the record that because the use type for this building has already been approved and gone through county referral in the past, we've decided that we do not need to seek another referral for the same kind of use, same kind of intensity, same level of use. And also, I'm going to make a motion that this is a type 2 seeker action and therefore does not require full seeker review. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second that, Sarah.
Do we have, are all in favor, say
Hey,
Aye.
A? And if there are any opposed, say O. All right. No opposed, so that's good. So then I guess our next step is for someone to make a motion for a site plan approval unless there's some concern that somebody wants to talk about.
So I'll make a motion for site plan approval for a hair salon at 104 Spring Street, 414 East Genesee Street.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it. Dan
Okay,
can have it.
Jennifer seconded it, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, it looks like you've got your site plan approval for tonight. Tell your wife congratulations.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
All right, very good. Good luck with the business.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Okay, ladies and gents, I think that really covers it all.
Okay.
Actually, wait a minute. I think somebody's got their hand raised here. Hold on one second.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Shall,
There's one audience member that raised their hand and wants to speak.
okay, if you would like to unmute yourself and speak.
Say who you are.
They should be ready to.
Do you have to unmute them, Karen, or can they?
Nope.
They have to. I think it's a *9 perhaps, or *6. There you go.
Hello?
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 Go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, this is Marguerite Ross. Just wanted to ask you a little bit more about 547 East Genesee, if I might. You have no idea as to what the intentions are of the applicant? As we know, they said, Paul Curtin wrote and said, don't want to have, just want to table it, I guess, or suspend the application with no further public comment on the proposal. Do you have any indication as to when or whether they're going to resume pursuing the application? It seems odd to me that they were, frankly, it just seems strange that they were pressing so hard to get through. Of course, they don't want a positive declaration. They made that very clear, which would be appropriate in my opinion. But do you have any sense at all about when the environmental review might be resumed, or what? Yes.
So Marguerite, thank you for asking for information, and we do not have any information because no action has been taken in any sense of the application. I don't find it terribly odd, primarily because we are in a very odd time right now for everybody with the pandemic and other aspects of what's going on. So I think it is simply state that they officially requested to table the application, and that is where we are still at. We have tabled any action on that particular application. If and when we get additional information, we'll share it with the public. There's nothing else going on. I do recognize that there was a strong interest on the applicant's part, and recognize that they simply respectfully asked this to be tabled. And so that's what we're listening to. And that's where we're at. Again, if information comes our way, if the applicant decides to untable this and move it forward, then we'll pick up where we left off and everybody will be duly informed. Okay. So thank you for your inquiry, but there is no action tonight on that particular matter.
Okay.
Appreciate you paying attention. So thank you very much. And I want to thank all the attendees who pay attention to our Zoom meetings. It's kind of different to say the least, and hopefully we'll get back to in-person meetings at some point. So I appreciate everybody's attendance. So with that, I don't see any other hands raised, and I think we've covered all our business. Karen, I don't know if you heard, but we, as the board, reviewed the minutes and approved of them.
Thank
So
you.
that's done, and we are up to date with all of our minutes for all of
Yes.
our meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, we can adjourn, I guess, huh?
So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All
Very
right.
good.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Everyone,
everybody.
bye-bye.
Bye.